Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. Adam Clinton here, as we try to be every week, to talk about our favorite sport, going fast and making noise. How you doing today, Adam?
Fabulous, Clint. How are you?
Well, I'm having a better day since we first talked this morning. You called me, and I should say I misplaced my wallet. And I barely use the thing, except this week when we need to rent cars, fly on airplanes, and use credit cards. So I was like, what a time to lose it. And of course, I didn't lose it. I put it somewhere.
Well, you
And
couldn't lose.
right where I left it. So anyways, my day is much better now that I've got my wallet back. So, but I appreciate your message that you raged the same way I did. So you understood why I didn't care to talk to you. I didn't care what you had to say. I was on a mission to find my damn wallet. So, but they got better after that.
It's the most irrational time in our lives when we lose our keys, our phone, or our wallet. Everything has to stop. Like, you could be having a heart attack, but I can't find my keys. So just wait over there. I got to get what I'm after. It's weird, right?
Yes. It's a helpless thing, your keys, your wallet, your phone. You lose any of those, you're in trouble in the modern day. And in fact, we had a gentleman lose his keys Friday at the races. Excuse me, I'm still a bit under the weather. Lose his keys after the races. Tina was actually helping him look for them. Do you have a cell phone? No, he didn't have a phone. He didn't have nothing but his keys, so we were trying to find it. He didn't know who to call. Man, it was a mess at 11:30 last Friday, but hopefully he got home, sir, and hopefully he had a good night at the races. Tonight we're expecting Darren Dryden to join us. Darren was won the last time the GLSS were at Ushweekend. We'll talk about track conditions because that's something that they've been working on, and we faced heavily on that night. Doesn't seem to bother to Darren too much. Barry Marlowe also runs the GLSS, and we may get joined by Zach Heiser also, who is the announcer for the Great Lakes Super Sprints. And we'll talk about the situation with tires, Adam. That's some inside baseball fans probably don't know. We all moved here in the Northeast to a Hoosier harder medium one. We finally got everybody on that at the end of last year. We thought we were all together, and then Barry moved to the MC3, which is the old Southern Ontario Sprints tire, and that's caused some teams to take this weekend off, and we'll talk a little bit about the politics behind that. APC at Delaware, we'll talk about that coming up. Delaware is always my favorite place for the APC. It seems I love the pit road and the way it all works out, and the races always seem to be great there. So Nova Scotia is hosting NASCAR at Riverside this weekend. I've never been there, but I hear it's one of the best tracks around too, so I'm excited to check that out. We got a few other things to do down. The Bounty is still alive. I guess we could start there till we get Darren Dryden to join us any minute now, but maybe we shouldn't get into it because that's a long topic. There's so many things we could get into with that.
Well, let's cover,
what do you want to talk about before we get?
Let's cover what the conversation is, the Art Hill Memorial, because it's pretty simple. Duel on the Dirt race, 24 cars start the feature. Is that not a Duel on the Dirt rule, or is that not the case?
Oh, you want to go right back to the problem I had Friday and bring that
that's
what the
comments are focused on, so you might as well.
I didn't even see the comments. I thought you were just trying to drag me into trouble.
No.
Yeah, we can address that too. We can definitely address that. All right, Darren's here as we're trying to waste any of our guests' precious time as they have valuable races to get to. Let's jump in with Darren Dryden. We'll get back to the Ushweekend politics of everything that went on there and how we got to those decisions. Darren, welcome to the show. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us this evening.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Good.
Pretty good. Just getting all ready for the weekend. Got our tires all sorted and, itching to get going.
Darren, let's talk about that for a second. You mentioned tires, different package. We don't want to dive into that too much, but, let's talk about GLSS and how that crew is a little bit maybe different drivers. Does that change the way you race a different tour?
Not really. Like, we've raced with them last year, and honestly, they're a bunch of respectful drivers, and we love going and battling with them, and we like their format. We do plan to travel and run a little bit with them this year too. So we're definitely excited to, see how we match up against them. And obviously it's a little bit different when we're running a different tire now. They've had some races to get used to it. It's going to be new for all of the locals. So at the end of the day, they're probably going to have a little bit of an advantage over us. But at the same time, it's going to be exciting to see how we can all stack up with the new tire package.
And now, Clinton, I'm going to ask you this question first. Those pictures I saw of Ohsweken Speedway, those were posted online public, right?
Of the dig up today?
Yes.
Yeah, we got pictures of it. Spencer, you can show them. So we've been struggling with turn one. I think there's a video and pictures.
That's fine.
We can talk about that.
Yeah, I didn't want to break this story, but Darren, how excited are you to see the track dug up with craters in it? Because we know you like. So the idea is to remove the character, but we know you like the idea of turning a track up through the week, so you don't know what you're going to get on Friday.
I'm hearing Barry in the background right here. We're definitely excited. At the end of the day, that corner number one was definitely a little bit problematic over the last bit, and we were fighting it a little bit more so this last race. So we're definitely excited to see if that's fixed. At the end of the day, last year, they tore up the whole track, and it was a situation that was very interesting. We didn't all anticipate it to end up being the way it was, and it was something that obviously we were able to run really well on. I don't think it's going to be the same this time. Looks like they're only tearing up corner one, but we're definitely looking forward to seeing if they're able to fix the problem that's been there. And we don't want to see people tearing up cars, and I don't think a rough track is what's tearing up cars. I think it's just little uncertainty of what's happening in corner one there, and I think once they get that dialed in, I think we'll all be on, we're all going to just definitely love everything about this track. It's just that's the only issue that I think people are fighting right now.
Yeah. I'm going to ask one more here, Clint. Give us your feedback on Wayne County, because I watched, talking about tracks with character, that looked like a rodeo. And you were there for a wild night. Lots of things that you wouldn't normally experience on a race night. But just talk about your experience going down there and trying to qualify for that show.
Yeah, going down there was definitely interesting. It was honestly not the track conditions that even the locals had expected, apparently. So normally it's pretty, I'd say sandy, loose is what I've been hearing from these guys. It'll be a lot more dried up, and maybe they put a little bit more water into it. Maybe there was a lot more rain throughout the week. But, for me, being new to the 410, it was definitely, a lot for me to get used to. And being comfortable to run up on the fence like that, us being a small team and, us kind of having to pay our repair bills, it was one of those things where I just need to get some seat time. So I was definitely playing it safe, bottom around the and there was a lot of grip in that track. So that was the first time in the 410 where with ease you're able to, do wheel stands out of the corner and really keep it under control. And I think we ran really well. It's one of those tracks, I think, where I probably need to be at, 3 to 5 times to have enough comfort to give it 100%. But I felt like, the other tracks we visited this year, we were definitely firing off right off the get-go. And yeah, it's just one of those tracks we definitely want to get back to. But it's going to take a little bit to be comfortable enough to run on the fence with the big boys.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have those issues. Spencer, bring that picture back up of the track work that went on today. And I just want to point in the section of grandstands, the one farthest, well, right in the middle, I guess. Right, if you notice right in front of that, from kind of where the fence kicks into, to the left, that's all new weeping tile put in there with new drainage going out. So we had a problem where the water was actually running off the wall down into the hole. So they've now diverted all that away in the last week. So major changes going on. That's good, Spencer. The other thing I wanted to talk about was, is right before the NASCAR race, Adam, they did this as well. We opened it up to a gaping crater like that. They let it all dry, packed it back, and it wasn't a problem at all for those races. So I think we're going to see finally this be gone, which just like a lot of teams are, Darren, I'm sick of the track being the story on Fridays because we've got so many other great things going on. Let's talk about, your season so far. you've had some great runs. Are you happy with your progress or where you sit right now? Obviously, you'd like to be a lot better and winning every week, but Dylan, he's on fire right now.
Yeah, Dylan's obviously, the guy to beat right now. And all in all, I think we're running really well. I think it was just, that one night killed us with having a part failure. And, you see it happen to Nick Sheridan too. It just kind of proves that anybody can have that bad night. And, it's not something that you can really prevent. I mean, you could maybe help prevent, but it's one of those things that can just happen to anybody. And, in cases where, all tracks can be rough, it doesn't mean that, Oshwegan or it could be anywhere that could, give this issue for anybody. And all in all, I think we're running really well, and we're trying to get comfortable in the 410 deal. So normally we'd be running more 360 stuff when we travel, but right now when we've been traveling, we've been getting out in the 410, and it's been a lot of fun with the team, try and get some seat time and kind of just build on what we got going on here. And quite honestly, this whole 410 deal kind of came about pretty quickly, and it's been very exciting for the team to kind of go out there and be able to have some speed too, and to be able to qualify in our first high limit race and actually qualify through. That was a huge achievement for us. And it's just a lot of it is just the seat time. And, our 360 package is really good. We just want to keep growing with that, but we're learning a lot on the 410 side of things too. And we're just excited to, keep trying new tracks and just keep building up our program. And obviously with tires changing, and, I run a different tire package with Oshwegan and a different tire package with GLSS and a different tire package with 410. So there's a lot to be, considered and a lot to learn, but we have a good team behind us to keep us rolling.
From the driver's seat, Darren, how much different is it, even giving the crew feedback with the 410 than it is with the 360?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot different. It's a lot of it is, they'll say, what do we need to do to the car? I'm like, man, I just need seat time. I don't know if you guys have done anything wrong. I don't know if there's anything, that we need to change on the setup. I just need to, get out there more. And I think some of the tracks that we've been to, I've been able to fire off and feel comfortable right away. And then obviously, Wayne County there, it was a situation where I just needed to, get more comfortable and just get some seat time. But I think all in all, we're in the right direction with everything that we're doing. And, it's just, it's having Steve Moulton with some 410 experience has been definitely very helpful. So that, I can hop in the car and, trust that what we've got going on and, know that we could be capable of, running with the top guys. And it kind of opened our eyes to Highland stuff like that. So, yeah.
Let's bring on Zach Heiser from the GLSS. Zach, welcome to the show. Thanks for taking some time to be with us here tonight. I'll lead in with the question, then we'll turn over to Zach for the next question. Darren, my question for you is, Steve has a lot of experience also with that MC3 tire that we're going to. Has he been able to bring any tricks to you, from all his experience with the SOS?
Well, at the end of the day, the tires that we're running with GLSS is definitely new to us. Like, everything's changed over the years, and we have an idea of what we should do, and we know it's a little bit more similar to the tires we used to run. But at the end of the day, it's just something that we're not going to know until we get out there. We're excited to do it, but yeah, it's having his knowledge is huge. But even he's got, some questions on, what it's going to be like. And, tires change over the years. It doesn't matter. Every year it seems to be a little bit different.
Let's turn over to Zach now. Zach, what do you want to ask Darren before we kick him off and get back to you and Barry about this weekend's events?
No, I just want Darren to know that I'm not going to be race directing on Friday, so he doesn't have to worry about that.
Not going to put me back?
I'm not. Although you told me that may have been what you needed to win last year, so I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely helps get us motivated to get back out front. And that was definitely funny.
Yeah, I mean, Darren knows what we're all about. He knows about our competition. I guess I am always interested to know, like, when we come over, our guys kind of know, even Kelsey Ivy come over last week to just kind of try to get a handle on the racetrack, not so much the tire, but like when we come over, Darren, who are some teams that you're watching from the American side that when they come to Oshwegan and then go down to Buxton, who do you guys have marked on your map of guys that you're watching?
Yeah, obviously, Max Stambaugh, he's the guy to beat there. And Daggett, he's got a lot of speed. I had a good battle with him at Buxton there. Gressman too. There's everybody that you guys bring over is definitely competitive, and we know that Kelsey can have, if she's on it with that night, she can be right there too. She's had some impressive runs too, and yeah, we're always excited to run with them. You guys run very clean, very respectful, and when we run with all these other divisions, you kind of see the aggression changes, right, and just the respect that everybody has, and I think it's pretty mutual with you guys running with us. It's a lot of respect for sure, and I think, competition level, I think it's pretty similar. Like, our guys is probably just as strong as your guys, but are we running in Canada or are we running in the US? What track, does everybody have more comfort at? Obviously we have the home track advantage with the amount of laps that we've done. But now you guys come with a tire package that you guys have a little bit of weeks to figure out. So, I'm kind of interested to see, who's going to fire off quick right off the hop. And yeah, it's going to be interesting, but we know Max has always done well when he comes up, and it's going to be interesting for sure. And again, we don't really know everybody that is coming up too. So I'm just going off of the names that usually do show up.
Yeah, and I think too, just last thing for me, guys, because this is what happened last time you brought me in and I hijacked the show. I think the other thing too is that we had a lot of rainouts. Like, it took us a lot longer to get on this tire than a lot of us thought it would. And so we've only had one repeat winner, and that was Zane DeVault way back at the beginning of the season. So since we've been on American Racers, I mean, I don't know that anybody's hit it out of the park yet. So I'm kind of with you, Darren. I think that there might be a great equalizer this weekend where my guys have a little bit more knowledge of the tire, but you guys have so much knowledge of that racetrack that, man, I think it could be a really good show this weekend.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see the results on your side, just to see, the guys that may be up front, maybe some nights they might have an off night, and it's just kind of all over the place. Like, you can't really anticipate who's going to be running up front. It's when I see those results, it's kind of been all over. And, it's been good to see some of the guys that maybe didn't have that opportunity, who are now running a lot better. But then I'm sure those guys that used to run very strong all the time are getting frustrated and wondering what's the difference, right? And, we're hoping that we can get out firing well and we're not frustrated too, or maybe you won't see us across the border.
Well, that's not what I want to hear, but yeah, I get it.
We'll be there. We'll be there.
Adam. That was a first. This is show 322, and never have I had a door-to-door salesman come to my front door while we were doing this. So that's what set the dog off and set me off, so I apologize, folks. Zach, it is customary for visitors to Ohsweken Speedway to not come empty-handed when they come into our tower. Were you aware of this last time you visited?
No, because you weren't there. So I understand that you're the one that handles collections. So I was able to get through stuff.
I do. What can you get in Michigan that you can't get in Ontario? I mean, this is important shit. You guys can talk about race cars all you want. What can you get in Michigan that you can't get in Ontario that you could fit in your bag to bring to Greg and I?
I don't know. I think that Ontario and Michigan are about as loosey goosey as you can get. So I don't know what we could get across the border that you guys don't already have.
Oh, you're gonna have to get creative, my friend.
He's looking for food. Okay, Zach, I'll dumb it down for you a bit. Like what you call Smarties and what we call Smarties are different things. Like our Smarties are chocolate. Yours are like what we'd call like the Halloween rockets that come together.
Yeah. Okay. What do you want, Adam?
Chips.
Just lay it out. What do you want?
He wants to know, like, we have ketchup chips in Ontario. You don't have ketchup chips in America, we're told. So what do you got in America that we don't have that he can eat? That's what he really wants.
Piles and piles of debt. I mean, an obesity problem.
Any of that.
All right, before we get too off track, let's wish Darren good luck this weekend. Darren, are you going to race Buxton as well?
Yeah, we'll be there for sure.
All right, so Darren's got 2 nights.
Gonna have to deal with DJ Christie down there, huh?
Yeah.
He had that place figured out last year.
With the GLSS this weekend. Good luck, Darren. We're going to pass you off, and thanks for taking the time to join us. Good luck with the rest of your Ohsweken season as well. We'll see you Friday night.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on. I'll see you Friday.
Thanks, Darren.
Darren won the last race for the GLSS last summer at Oshweek, and we're excited to see how it goes this weekend. If we got Barry, throw him on too. Barry, if you got your camera on, we'll take you too. Zach, how has the season been going for the GLSS so far this year?
Yeah, I think obviously, you guys kind of touched on it. There is, even on our end, right? There's a little politics involved with a tire change, and we've seen a little bit of that. But to be quite frank, I think it's been really good. Last year you had Max Stambaugh and Jared Horseman. They won 9 and 7 events respectively, and now we've only got one driver who's won more than one race, and that was Zane DeVault, as I said, all the way back at the beginning of the season. And I think the racing has just been better. And, I don't know that it's all the tire, I think that's got something to do with it, but I really do feel like our on track product has improved this year. We've got the same great names that we've always had: Chase Dunham, Max Stambaugh, Phil Gressman, Dustin Daggett. They're all out there. And for the most part, they are still all running where you expect them to, but we just don't have guys dominating right now. Which is not what we could say the last few years. There was only 1 or 2 guys, maybe 3, that could go and run away with the Great Lakes Super Sprints event these last few years. And now this year, man, you just don't know. It really is a flip of the coin, flip 5 or 6 coins, because that's how many guys it feels like could win one of these races at any given night. And we're excited about it. We really are. Clinton, anytime that you can get a better product on the racetrack is a good thing. And right now we feel like we've got that.
Zach, will your race teams be forthright with you at the end of the year when they talk tire budgets? I mean, because that's the idea. How many fewer tires were you able to race on this year? How much, what were the dollars and cents of running that? Because there's value to that. I mean, there's got to be value to Clinton Geoffrey, who's a track promoter. That his team's costs are of the utmost importance to him, and you guys are doing something that not many groups have done.
Well, I'll tell you that we are all monitoring it very closely. The first 3 weeks that Zane DeVault ran with us, he ran the same rear tires, and he won 2 of those 3 weeks and finished in the top 5 that middle week that he didn't go to victory lane. And we're monitoring how these tires wear. We're monitoring, when they fail, how they fail. And yeah, to your point, that's the whole thing is, first of all, can we save money up front buying these tires? We've proven that, yes, we can. And then secondly, can we get more shows out of these tires and still be competitive? And so far here toward the end of June, the answer is yes. We've only had 1 race where we absolutely and we didn't destroy tires, we just wore them out. And that was Lawrenceburg Speedway back at the beginning of the month, where that track took rubber right after qualifying. It was already rubbering up. And so by the end of our 25-lap feature, guys' tires weren't, they were ruined in the sense that you couldn't race them again, but they weren't chunking. They weren't, delaminating. They were just worn out. And I think that's a very encouraging thing for guys to know, that if they can get back to managing their right foot or managing their setups to not be so aggressive, or if the racetrack doesn't take rubber, that they'll probably be able to use the same set of tires for a whole weekend or a whole weekend plus. And yeah, we are all of our teams, whether they run, all 32 races that we have scheduled, or whether they run the 15 races in their region, we're talking every night after the races and throughout the week about what their tire wear looks like and how many tires they think they actually need.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the situation here in the Northeast. So you guys were on the Hoosier Medium 1, as a lot of sprint car groups were. We just moved to that last year. So we were all going to be on the same tire finally. And I know Barry and I have talked about this lots. And from our perspective, just so our fans understand, we booked this event with all of us on the same tire. You guys make your business decision to change to a different tire. So now your tour's coming in, and our guys are saying, some guys are saying to me, well, just make them do that. Well, we booked your tour. It's your rules. I can't tell the Outlaws to allow the Friday night tire as well. It doesn't make any sense. So I get where we are. And it just, we were put in a position now at Oshweek, and we can either force our guys by holding their foot to the flame, by making them buy 2 tires, a left and a right rear, to compete this weekend, or give them the night off, or the option to take the night off. So we don't know what we're going to get for car counts being straight up front. I think 18, 20 cars would be a win for both sides in the situation we're in. I think 20 cars would be fantastic. I can tell you, majority of the Oshweekend stars have all bought tires and are coming. You know, from the ones we've heard of, I've heard from about 10 teams that have bought tires and are coming from our side. So we're still gonna have a fantastic show. But we will get to see how the tires perform and how that works on that one-off deal. So, some teams have elected to take their up. I know, Adam, from our perspective, the two drivers, Eric Ledhill said he was taking the night off, but he already lost a car and beat one up. So a chance for them to recuperate. And same thing with Nick Sheridan, who, crashed in them clearing out the motors last week on the pace laps. Something broke in the front end and he totaled his car. So Nick is the other one that mentioned he would be taking the weekend off, and not because he's politicking against the tires or the purchase. He just needs the week with no points, no penalty to get caught up for the season. So those both make sense. Either way, we're excited for a great great show this week. Adam?
On that train of thought, I want to ask you a question, Zach. You've got 32 races between two regions?
Yeah, north and south, right? So Michigan area and then Ohio, Indiana.
How many are combined?
Yeah, so
Like
that
how many are both
so that,
north and south?
right. So it's a pretty even split. I think this year it's 15 or 16 in the Michigan region, and then 12 or so in the Ohio, Indiana region, and then a couple of races, four races that would have been for tour, including the two over in Ontario.
Right on. And do you allow for any drops?
Nope, we do not allow drops.
Okay, so the guys and the reason I asked, Clint and I, most of these conversations happen off the air, because by the time you go on the air, he wants to have a definitive, here's what we're doing and here's why we're doing it. But the conversation of teams don't all want to race every week anymore, where they used to have no problem running 2-3 nights a week. Are you watching? You're pretty young, Zach, but you've been around to see the change over the last 30 years of how many races teams can accommodate or are willing to go to compared to what used to be.
And it's not just teams either, Adam. I'll tell you, from my perspective as a guy who helped build the schedule and had probably about a 85 to 90% involvement in building our schedule this year. 4th of July weekend, let's take that, in our Independence Day weekend. That used to be one of those, 3 to 4 day weekends of racing here in the States. Like, you just knew you were going to get 4 nights of racing. Guys, families are going to bring campers out, load the coolers down. And we have one race scheduled that weekend this year for our premier division with the Great Lakes Super Sprints, because tracks are in the same boat. The fans just aren't coming out like they used to. And so, yeah, it absolutely has been a discussion, about the points and having a drop night. And, there's pros and cons. I talk to the drivers all the time and I say, well, we can fix one problem, but we'll probably create another by doing that. Clinton, I'm sure you get that too. We can look at all the scenarios, but, right now we feel that it's, that's kind of why we have the regions, Adam, is because guys that only want to run 15, 16 times a year, 12 times a year, they can run in Michigan and just stay in their region, or they can run in Northwest Ohio and Eastern Indiana and stay in their region if they only want to run, 12 to 15 times a year, and they could still potentially win a championship that way. And then your guys who don't have the budget to go tour, with high limit or run 410s or that sort of thing, but they still want to try to run, 25 to 30 races a year, then they can run all of them and they can run the tour with us and still get their fix that way. And that's kind of been Barry's solution to that problem, to not have to have drops, but guys can still run for a championship.
Yeah.
Barry, you want to join in here? I hear you're having camera problems, but we can hear you. Go ahead. You got anything you want to add to this?
Well, I've enjoyed listening to you guys. Am I coming through?
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
we got you, Barry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know where to jump in because you guys covered a lot of stuff. So I'll listen.
How about come back to
jump
Oshweekend? Let's set up Oshweekend before we let you go. Are you guys excited to get back?
Absolutely. I'm excited to be back. I always look forward to crossing the border. Absolutely.
Right on.
The
Well,
one
it's good to
time,
have you guys
the one time that Barry doesn't have any words for you, Clinton. I mean, my God, get on the phone with this guy and he'll go forever. But podcast stage, nope, 4 words. That's all you're getting.
That's okay. We talked a lot.
It's quality over
Just-
quantity.
Yeah. No, we're excited to have you guys up. Tell a little bit about where they can catch your races, Zach, about the TV package and how they can get in that if they can't see it.
Yeah, well, obviously, promote this right here. Friday night, you guys will have our platform for sure. We'll be kind of co-promoting or co-broadcasting that. But then on Saturday, GreatLakesSprints.tv. People who already have a membership, they'll see Friday night's show as well. But then Saturday at Buxton, GreatLakesSprints.tv, and 99.5% of the rest of our shows this season will be on GreatLakesSprints.tv. We go to Eldora a couple of times, and obviously they have a flow contract, so it's just kind of easier to bend the knee there than to try to fight that, which is fine. We're good with that. So that's been a really fun project, man. We idolize what you guys are doing here with G-Force. We'd love to be able to be at that level at some point, but for right now, we're happy with what we got. Able to bring our races to the fans, all across the country. It's really neat to look at where people are tuning in to our races from. I think we're up probably covering almost all 50 states right now.
I'm gonna say something, and I want to hear all of your feedback on it. I lump us together. Maybe we don't belong in the conversation with Indiana, but let's talk Michigan. Let's talk what we have at Oshwegan right now. It's really good racing compared to what you get dirt racing to, so say, the southwestern United States, or like there's a lot of pockets in the United States with an appetite for really good dirt racing, and the climate isn't conducive. They don't have the car counts. They've got too many rules packages, so divisions are watered down. But I would have to say is that where you think some of your audience is coming from? Because they're just clamoring to watch good racing, and we have that up here. And I say Michigan, Ontario, I lump us all in together.
We really do. I mean, we're averaging 24, 25 cars for 10 years now. That's what we've been averaging. And so we're blessed to be able to still be in that part. And then, like you said, Adam, other sanctioning bodies, other divisions are doing well. Local sprint car racing, right in my backyard, Butler Motor Speedway is kind of like you guys. They run sprint cars almost weekly there. And, they're pulling in 18 to 22 cars a week of sprint cars just dropping in to race. And yes, this region is blessed. We've got a lot of cars right now. We've got a lot of dedicated race teams. And like you said, they're not just, these are good races, and these are good race car drivers, and these are good race teams that are dropping in. They're not just, kind of out on a Sunday drive. They're all competing and racing hard. And we are. And we see that too. We've got a couple of other sanctions on GreatLakesSprints.tv, and you're exactly right. We're seeing a lot of folks from outside of the Midwest, kind of getting into the middle part of the country and out to the West Coast, who are tuning in and watching sprint car racing here in this region. It's really good.
Right on. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you Friday. Good luck Friday and Saturday. If you missed the early part, this is the Great Lakes Super Sprints, be at Oshwegan Friday and Buxton Saturday. Thanks, Zach. Thanks, Barry. We'll see you guys on Friday.
All right, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
See you soon.
Right on. Looking forward to get Zach in the booth. One of my favorite calls of Zach's was last year when you were away, and he got to call the Dykstra Stratford drama, and holy crap, what a wild night that was. It was exciting for me to see Zach experience it, because he didn't know all the history between those two. And when your co-villains go at it head to head, depending on which side of that fence you were on, it was promoter's dream, I got to tell you. Let's move on.
A third-party commentator who puts his all into it. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I can't hear. So we've got Renetsonville's Super Dirt Series race going on in 2 rooms in my house. Obviously, this room is on mute, but I can hear the excitement coming out of Connor's, the iRacing room, and I love it. Those guys, say what you want about them, but the inflection is good. And I sort of glanced up like, what the hell is going on? It's a freaking street stock heat. But the energy was awesome. So when you get that, when you get good announcing, it's definitely a good thing. And having Zach in there to call that was good announcing.
I'm excited for Friday. You, Greg, and Zach will have a lot of fun together. He definitely fits into the pie with you guys. So excited about that. Beagle Bounty Bailey. Let's talk a little bit about that. It was not claimed on the weekend, and it continued to grow Saturday. They are off this weekend. But the next weekend is the Brock Leonard Memorial, which was originally going to pay $2,000 to win. Emma from Club 54 said, let's make it $2,500 to win, which makes the bounty winner, if they win the race and the bounty, $10,000 for the Thunderstocks a week from this Friday. So on July 3rd, the race is $2,500 to win, and the bounty is now $7,500. Gail Hill from Gail's Auto Aftermarket jumped in. Lone Wolf Fireworks jumped in. Emma jumped in. It's continued to grow here from Club 54. So $7,500. Adam, are we getting out of line? Should we be not taking the money? What are you doing? Because I have a new plan. And go ahead.
It's completely out of hand. And it's awesome. Because I was nervous Friday night. Because I put not that I have any say in anything, but I did call people out online. I said, these people will wreck each other for a hot dog. If there's a way to get to the checkered flag first, they're going to do what they're going to do, whether there's $10,000 on the line or not. And I believe that. But there was still, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, remember Ryan Beagle when he lost a championship in someone else's wreck? And then Dave Bailey just about got caught up in 2 wrecks early in that feature on Friday night. But it sure was exciting. And the racing was good. And it was all well officiated. That's all you've got to do.
I thought Kyle Wirt raced Dave very clean. I think half the crowd was cheering for Kyle Wirt to make that move on the outside and get him because he didn't go away at all. Like Bailey didn't run away. He was right there. It could have been one misstep and it would have been Wirt's win. And half the people wanted to see Bailey. Now, I got an idea for you. And I've normally bounced this to you offline. But everybody's been saying that Bailey and Beagle should get a shot at the money. So here's what I want to change the rules to right now. Every week they can win, they should take $500 back off the top of that to the winner's share. So if Bailey wins that next week, it's only $7,000. And if he can win it the next week, it's only $6,500. What do you think about that? Is that fair or not?
I think that's fair. And if they finish 1-2, they should both get a piece. Give the winner $300 and second $200. Something
they can
along.
Split it however they want. But I think you got to beat him to win the bounty. So if whoever defends the bounty gets the bonus, maybe. I don't know. We got to figure something out for them guys, though.
One thing you did not do, because I very intentionally went to that driver's meeting, wasn't made clear that Beagle and Bailey both have to start the feature in order for that bounty to apply. And is it going to be made clear on the last night that they have to start the feature? You know, all the little things, because they got to get beat on the track.
Yeah, I don't think you don't get the bounty if you don't knock them off, right?
But you better outline it like a quick one-pager. Here's what's got to happen. They've both got to take the green flag.
I can't believe we have to write rules for this now. It's gotten entirely out of hand.
It's a lot of money.
Hey, look it. That's the division everybody was chirping was boring because these two guys have won it. Now it's the race everybody can't wait to see for the last week and what's going to be coming up in 2 weeks. It brought out, Brock Gregory and a couple of the other drivers. I'm surprised more of the Merrittville drivers didn't come down and try and take a shot at it. But the Brock Leonard is going to bring them all out for good payouts and a combined duel on the dirt race with open handicapping. So that means it's a heads up start that night with a redraw. Right. So they're not going to have to start 20th, but neither are you as an outsider to try and knock them off. Will also not have to start 20th if you got speed. So I think July 3rd is going to be wild. I'm excited for the Brock Leonard now. It's going to be awesome. Show that payout again, Spencer, if you can. Just so we're clear, $2,500 for the win. We do it every week. I can't remember what the exact number is. 1,500 for second, 1,200, 1,100, 1,000 for fifth. Decent payouts right down through the top 8 or so spots. So excited about that. It's going to be a great night. So
Yeah.
we're bringing some on that.
It's one of those things that it's awesome, it's terrible, it's way more stress than you or Dave Hunsinger deserve, but I'm here for it.
People having fun with the bounty posters. Here's Ron Logie, Mike Klazinga, Trevor DeBoer, the 3 most likely home track guys to take a shot at it. There's a couple more kicking around that they had fun with this week. It was great. Adam's favorite, the Gun Show Grossel, ready to hunt for some bounty. Gotta love these guys are playing with the AI stuff. A warrant out on Ryan Beagle. He get caught by the bounty hunter. Justice will be served.
George, I was talking to George's dad at the drivers' meeting. He says George isn't entirely on board with that nickname. But I said, in my defense, he's the Gun Show because he wears shirts with no sleeves. But he wears shirts that are cut so far to the inside that his nipples hang out. So it was either going to be Gun Show or Nipples Grossel. And I think Gun Show sounds a lot better.
Listen to you go. So we'll see how that goes on. What do you want to talk about? We can address the mini stock situation.
Well, let's do it because it wasn't. Listen, it's a legit question, but it's also a legit answer.
Yeah. So we traditionally start 28 cars in the Minis and Thunders on a regular night at Auschwitz. During the Duel on the Dirt negotiations for the past year, the other tracks don't feel that our drivers, because 4 more of our drivers are getting points on those nights than they are at the other tracks. So they didn't feel it was fair. So we agreed that we'd only start 24 cars in the combined races. The home track events, we would still do what we wanted to do because they didn't want to mess with your home track format. So first off, there's 2 types of races in the Duel on the Dirt. Each track designates 2 nights as home track nights for the Minis and Thunders. Usually early in the night. I try and knock them off the first couple weeks if we can. And then each track has a combined race. And what a combined race is, it means the other tracks won't stomp on that night. So what it means is, and it doesn't mean a lot for us on Fridays because we're the only Friday track, but for the Saturday night tracks, Brighton, Buxton, and Merrittville, they have to work together to make the combined events work so they don't schedule against the other. So what your Duel on the Dirt total points are, the 2 home track nights and each track's combined night. So you should go to each other track 3 times, race your combined night, and then your 2 home track nights get added in. So that's the 2 types of races that make up the tour. So our home track race were early in the year. Friday night was our combined race. One of the teams was disputing the fact that it wasn't clearly made at any of the pre-race confirmation that it was 24 cars. And I'll take the heat for that. It was probably slipped up until after the drivers' meeting, as we were doing the lineups, we got questioned from the tower, oh shit, shouldn't we be only taking 24 cars? We said yes at that point, you're right. That was the discussion we had. We would keep it going. So at that point, the lineups are made, and on my race pass, at the bottom, it says how many we're taking, top 4 transfer. Well, one of the teams wasn't happy because we only transferred 4 cars instead of our traditional 8 on a Friday, which I understood was a bit confusing because in the past we had done that, but that's how we got there. And the one thing I want to make clear to the teams are, and I wonder if I even have the screenshot for Spencer to show it, I'm sure I still do, is, and this is one thing I sent to the teams, was this is the Bible we go off of. And this is what we can show you. Just let me find it here, Spencer.
And understandably, it's disappointing for a team. And understandably, you might think, hey, there's tons of cars. There's lots of room. Why don't you start 30? Why don't you start 40 cars? Because to make it a fair series among all the tracks, that's what the promoters agreed to. So
show that picture if you can, Spencer, that I just sent to the dump account. So what I want to say to the teams is, So right here, this is where you get the lineups. And if you're looking at it on the board where Bob posts it, at the bottom under your lineup, it will tell you clearly top 4 transfer. Now, if that said top 8 transfer, we would have to honor it. So this is kind of the end of the line. When the lineups come out on My Race Pass, it clearly says top 4 transfer, top 8 transfer, 2, 6, 10, whatever it may be. Okay, thanks, Spencer. So what I want to say to the teams is, no matter what, because they said it was said on the stream, so no matter what we say on the stream, no matter what we say in the, driver's meeting does matter, but sometimes we have to make a change. As long as Dave, our race director, says it to you clearly when you're coming out for your pace laps, and I know it's part of his rhetoric and his cadence, if you will, get ready, drivers, nice, tight, square, and even. We're taking 4 or top 4 transfer, top 3 to scales. Dave has that saying. So we could verify that Dave did tell them it was 4 as they were coming out on the pace laps, and My Race Pass said 4. So I understand the team was a bit upset about the misunderstanding and the miscommunication. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the scoreboard says, what Adam says. It matters what that lineup sheet says. Is that fair, Adam? Does that make sense? And we have to be better. We have to be better. I'm not trying to push the blame off. We need to be clearer, but the race team's foot to stand on is what it says on the end of that lineup.
And I kind of lean into what Doug Erskine just said, is maybe Art Hill Memorial is not the right race to make the Duel on the Dirt combined race. Possibly.
No, I don't disagree. And like I said, this is a moving chessboard, right? Like, we learn stuff every year. We try different things every year. Like, even Dave and I realized that maybe what we need to next year is have the No LTO Memorial, the Brockliner Memorial, and the Art Hill Memorial. Only 3 divisions on one night to tighten up the night a bit, because those are both double distance, triple distance races. So if we did a 3-division show with only those events, we used to have it at one point, it was the Nationals. But making teams from Brighton drive up on a Thursday because their whole season depends on it, and then be late Friday doesn't put anybody in a good spot either. So we moved away from that. So, we're doing all these things, right? We're always trying to figure out the best mix.
All things considered, it was a really good race.
Yeah.
No offense to those who got in or who didn't get in. The Conti was very, very exciting, the last chance qualifier, and the feature was very, very exciting.
Well, let's talk about that.
Congratulations for that.
24 cars rolled out for that B main, and they just kept coming, because I'm down in the bowl and I'm looking up on the berm, and it was just like car. I thought, what are we emptying the pits? And then I looked at the lineup. 24. We had 44 cars. 20 qualified in, so 44 were lined up, or 24 were lined up in the B main. Insane. And what a crowd from Alex and the Insta group.
Yep. So bummer that anyone has to leave with hard feelings, but fair enough. Ask the questions. All you can do is answer the questions, deal with it, and eyes forward. But that was a huge crowd. Mother Nature was a bummer because it slowed things down just a little bit, but still a good night of racing.
Yeah. What do we want to say? Oh, My Race Pass Fantasy. Do you have the results from the week? Did anybody beat you?
I don't want to talk about the results.
That means Greg won again?
We're still undefeated.
Or do I own someone a t-shirt and hat?
No, you don't. Let me see here.
Greg beat you again?
G. Calman won. 3,684 points, 52% correct. I was third. So TKR Radical Racers, I think that's Tony Kelly, right? He was second with 61% correct. So obviously he didn't pick all the matchups. I had 50% correct. So you only need to be half right. I keep getting screwed by my kid. Like, it'd be nice if he'd finish one of these races, but that's one of my. I can't go against him.
When did they cut it off, Adam? Do you know?
I want to say 7:30. So it only opens up at like 6:45. So we do need to promote it. It's unfortunate you have to have a membership to participate. I wonder if we could get in touch with My Race Pass, see what we can do just to get the engagement up.
Yeah. Anybody who's got the My Race Pass app, you can play. It's fantasy racing. You can pick it's like pair betting. You can check it out. Pick who's going to beat who from a group of 3 or 2 racers, depending on the setup. Yep. And you get points. And whoever can beat Adam or Greg, who've defended our honor now, there's a bounty on Adam and Greg's head for the fantasy league, and it's 2 tickets to both Weekend Outlaw races and a hat and t-shirt package. So make sure you get out there and play the fantasy. Let's talk about Outlaws quickly, Adam. If you didn't hear it, we have signed Stuart Friesen, Christopher Bell, and Ryan Newman. So there was questions about Bell's injury. All of this deal came together last week after his Michigan injury. So they're bringing the Donnie Kreitz car, and it is happening. I'm understanding that Ryan Newman is going to drive a GSR car for his first ever World of Outlaws start, which is wild to think that Ryan Newman and all the stuff he's done has never tried an outlaw race, and will have his first race there. And, of course, Stuart Friesen won it back in 2015, 16-ish. I think it was 15. So he's 11 years out from his outlaw win at Oswego when he knocked him off. And I still think you get Stuart on the right day with the right setup and the right track conditions, he could easily repeat that feat again.
For sure.
So it's exciting to see that. Plus Kenny Wallace and Kenny Schrader. Were also talks about Ryan Newman's daughter, Brooklyn, possibly getting her in the UMP modified race as well. So all kinds of action. Make sure you check that out. Tickets are flying out the door for that, and camping is going fast. So make sure we only have limited. I think there was about 60 sites left in camping as of today. So make sure you check it out. If you want to camp with us, make sure you're there. It's July 21st, 22nd, the World of Outlaws. Spencer, do you have the ad by any chance? If you do, we'd love to see it. I didn't prep you to have it. Yeah, no sweat. Just let me know when you got it before we get out of it. Attitudes in the pits, Adam. Well, let's talk about Nova Scotia first. What are we going to see there? Riverside this weekend. You know.
So you've never seen the Maritime Pro Stock Tour?
I have, because I worked with Joe Chisholm for the Parts for Trucks Pro Stock Tour with Race Time once. We went in Halifax and worked at Scotia Speed World, what's right across from Halifax Airport.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was there, but never been to Riverside.
So you're going to enjoy that. It's nice to go to a track and be able to spectate a really good show and then be able to call a really good show. And that's what you get at Riverside. It'll definitely help the crowd having both of those classes. So it's a lot of fun to go down there.
I saw they have a big concert planned for Friday too, so it's going to be a good party. Make sure you check it out if you're down the East Coast, and we will be bringing the broadcast back. We're splitting up the crews this weekend. We got a lot going on here. It's probably the busiest weekend for the G-Force boys going on. But let's look at the promo for the Outlaws. Here's the commercial. Make sure you get tickets.
Raw horsepower, built on dirt. This is the world of Outlaws.
The greatest show on dirt.
Crossing the border to Ohsweken Speedway, July 21st and 22nd.
Get tickets at worldofoutlaws.com or ohswekenspeedway.com. We got Burger Barn videos of the week. We got some pictures to look at. We also have. I just want to talk about attitudes in the pits. Oh man, it's been a rough week, Adam. Like, I can't believe go-karters have been probably the biggest problem we've had. Like, parents wanting to fight other parents over something the kids do. Your kids are 6 years old. They're learning how to drive, and you want to fight because another parent. What did they tell him to go out and wreck your 6-year-old? Like, it seems like the most ridiculous thing ever that I have to deal with. And just be better parents. Come on. You know?
Well, it's your fault, but I'll tell you why. The solution is yours. You actually need to spend 2 or 3 times more effort to the message that, look, we're here as a community. We put on a family show. You would think when it's actually families that are at the track because it's their kids that are racing, that there would be an understanding that they know it's family fun. And I'm not being sarcastic. more go-kart tracks have closed because of bullshit than noise complaints, anything else. They have closed because the nonsense that families provide to these legitimate venues. I'm not going to name names, but through central New York, these places get shut down because it is just not worth the aggravation. But these people need to come to the driver's meeting. You need to have a driver and parent and crew and team owners meeting and say, look, this is the culture that we have created here, and you are going to blend into this culture or you are not going to race here.
Yeah.
We speak positively, we do positive things, and you put a ton of effort. Like, our Friday night teams know that. Like, it's ingrained in it. And I don't know that the same message gets delivered to the Thursday teams, because it used to be, in the beginning, it wasn't as organized, it wasn't as high profile, it wasn't as legitimate as it is now. It's a big program, and they actually need to be reminded, like, get your heads out of your asses, family fun, enjoy it, and there are serious repercussions if you don't.
Yeah, and just on a couple things there, the penalties will be way harder on parents being idiots in the pits on a Thursday than two drivers being idiots in the pits on a Friday. If your kid signs into the adult area on a Friday night and happens to see two drivers fight, it might happen. Very rare at our place because we just don't tolerate it. As you said, we work very hard on the Friday night culture. But if kids have to see other adults fight on Thursdays, that's a big problem that we are not going to put up with. So let's get it together. We're trying to bring in you, and you're right, Adam. And I think it's a product of growth. 68 carts on opening night. That's a lot of new people who don't know the rules. In the earlier years, I felt it was a lot calmer because it seemed like 90+% of the parents on Thursdays were Friday night racers. And we're getting their kids involved in the sport, so they kind of knew the rules. And we had one or two bad eggs, so it's just funny that karting has been the biggest rock in my backpack so far this month, as opposed to all the racing and other stuff we've had going on.
It'll get better. It will get better, but it used to be, in my mind, when I would show up, kind of like the pickup basketball game down at the schoolyard. And it's not that anymore. It was always good racing, but it's just a different vibe now, and a bunch of people that aren't quite part of the program yet, but they will be.
Well, I think you're absolutely right in that regard. Like saying it was just kind of like pickup racing in the beginning. We had a track, we all had toys, we got together, and now it's turned into a televised, organized, start on time, try and finish on time event. I know a lot of the other some of the parents don't love the high pace of it, and I guess kind of my attitude is, look, at when you go watch your kid play soccer or hockey, they don't get a break in the middle to eat French fries and take breaks and play with their friends. They're there to compete and go home. So I do still have my foot on the gas to the staff to start at 7, be done by 9. I feel we have teams traveling some in excess of 2.5 hours to race with us. We owe it to them to get home on the same day they leave their house. So, let's work on making that happen. So, no, it's been good, but come on, parents, if you're one of the problems, let's remember we're here for the kids. Because the worst thing you can do as a parent is get banned from a place your kid loves to be because you were an idiot. So don't be that idiot, right? We got better ways to handle it.
Couple of
We
things
got some
we've got to
burglars this
cover.
week.
But
Okay,
before we
shoot.
get there, Ray Morneau is probably not going to race again this weekend. We tried to get him on the show, but he is doing away with screen time this week. He's still suffering effects of the concussion that he suffered at Peterborough Speedway. So we wish Ray a speedy recovery. He's doing the right thing. He says, I got to remind myself this is a hobby. As much as we love it and as much as we dedicate to it, it's still a hobby, and I got to work for a living. So we wish him a speedy recovery. We invited him to be on the show. And let's talk about Dylan Westbrook, Clinton. That was a really interesting message he sent to both of us.
Yeah, Westbrook sent the message when we were talking tires, and he says, I've ran the same right rear tire all year so far. And he's won a bunch of races, and the same 3 left rears. One for hot laps, one for heat, and one for the main. Before then, with the old HTC, he would go through a tire a night. So that's some interesting thoughts there from Dylan Westbrook. Yeah.
A right rear night, and the reason for 3 different left rears is for stagger. He'd run a different stagger in hot laps than he does in the heat than he does in the feature.
Yeah, but
so
that's showing us our tire wear. And, you know, I think we went to a great tire for all of us up here. It just sucks that Barry went a different way with the GLSS, but at the end of the day, we're the only ones that they mesh with. So Barry did what Barry had to do for his region. We're on the other side of that region, and we only play together once or twice a year. So I will figure it out.
Yep, and I want to agree with Alvers on something and address one of his comments. It's a problem with the whole generation entitlement. The problem we are the problem, Alvers, because we enable the entitlement. So as long as we actively participate in the venue and give people nothing to be entitled for, we're part of the solution, right? Otherwise, it's just an excuse. We pull our weight, everybody falls in line, and that's why we have a really good vibe at the track. People disagree. People have bad nights. People can say any shitty thing that they want, but it better be based in fact, because we will come with receipts when people get carried away.
I almost had to whip out the receipts last week, but we try and talk them back before we got to embarrass you. I think the biggest thing we got is we're not afraid to say we made a mistake. And I think that's, as a track, once you get over that fact that you're always right and you can realize we're not always right, I think that builds a better relationship with the teams. To be able to stand at them and say, hey, we weren't better, or we weren't as good as we need to be and we need to be better, I think it builds that relationship with them because they understand no one's perfect.
It takes a little bit of wind out of their argument, right? Because they're expecting a fight. You don't need to give it to them. You just own it sometimes, and sometimes you have to admit that you were right, and it still sucks for them.
But you and I have had that rule. We've had the same rule for years. You know, we can take it. You wanna flip out. Let's go somewhere private. Call me whatever you want. We can handle it, but don't come into the middle of the tech barn and start throwing F-bombs around trying to embarrass us because it doesn't work out good, you know? We can always talk about it, though. Let's have some fun. Burger Barn Videos of the Week. I think we just got some wild crashes. Or let's look at pictures first. Let's go some pictures. We'll talk a bit more, and then we'll watch some videos and go home. Show some pictures, Spencer. What do we got? Who would have won this one, Adam? Stroke Race, Harry Gant, Cale Yarborough, or Aubrey James? Who would have won that title?
Cale Yarborough. Stroke Race is going to win one of the big races, and he's going to be spectacular, but he's got no consistency. Aubrey James is a pretty boy. Harry Gant was always getting the short end of the stick, so Cale Yarborough is your champion.
I give you that, but Stroke Race never lost a party. You know that.
Well, exactly. Who's the real winner?
Stroker.
He might not be the champion, but he's going home with Lonnie Anderson.
Yes. All right. If you don't know, Spencer, do you know what this is even about from Spencer? Let's test Spencer. Do you know what that is?
Spencer, do you know how to obviously you do. Spencer, download the movie. The flight is going to be long enough that you can watch it. Because I can't respect you until you've watched Stroker Race and Six Pack. Enough times to be able to sing along.
Do you know how many of my friends that I talk racing with all the time have not seen those movies? It's like, Spencer, have you seen Six Pack? Do you know why we call Dave Bailey Brewster Baker?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Okay. Well, that's Spencer's homework. There will be book reports due on this subject by next Tuesday. Well, actually, if you didn't know it,
Please, Spencer,
Go ahead.
watch both of those movies. I want to know which one you prefer because I'm not sure which one I prefer, to tell you the truth. Although Stroke Race, that was a magical time of NASCAR racing.
I mean, Stroke Race is like an 80s comedy movie when it comes to NASCAR, starring Burt Reynolds, if you didn't know it, and you got to go watch it because it's classic. Anybody who hasn't seen Stroke Race, that's your homework too. So it's just Burt Reynolds and, Jim Neighbors, right? There's so much great stuff going on there. He gets deal. Six Pack is Kenny Rogers as a dirt racer who makes it to NASCAR. And I love Six Pack because I was about the same age of the pit crew when it came out. Some great actors in that. I think that's probably where I fell in love with Cherry Valance, and I don't remember what her name was in that movie, but who's the redhead I'm thinking of? Man. Anyways, Diane Lane when she was a young teenager. But great movie. Six Pack and Stroke Race. Okay, question for you, Adam. He's got to pick one to watch on the flight. Which one do you make him watch?
I think you start with Stroke Race.
Yeah, I was going to say the other way. I was going to say you got to go pure and you got to watch Six Pack. But there you go, Spencer. Two to choose from. And Alvarez put up a good one. The Last American Hero is another great movie about Junior Johnson, if you didn't get to check that out. But The Fastest Chicken in the South, I want that shirt. A guy had it on at Talladega, and I'm like, I need that shirt. That is so good.
What's the name of the chicken pit?
Oh, Clyde Torkel's Chicken Pit Special, man. I know every word. I know every word of that movie. Because when you're a kid growing up, service on TV, you got to see the Daytona 500, the Indy 500, and that was it. So if they made a movie about us, oh man, it was wicked to see. The other one I like too was Heart Like a Wheel. That was the Shirley Muldowney movie. I thought was a great movie too.
Yeah, it was well done.
All right, show us some other pictures. Late Model Open miniseries. This is something we worked together with the three tracks that are having this. So it's all within a week for the Late Model Open. This is crates and late models. It's going to be Buxton on the 18th of Saturday, then Oshweekend on the Tuesday of the Outlaw Show, and then at Brighton the following Saturday, all within a week. They worked on some contingency stuff. Sandercock posted this next post today. Spencer, show the other slide. Trying to round up some extra cash for the drivers. Buxton Speedway, a $600 bonus for the crates. Oshweekend, $600 bonus for the crates, and a Brighton bonus for the out-of-town cars to fix up some of the Late Model Open guys. I think it's exciting that they're working that out. And, I appreciate, as do the other tracks, these guys getting together to build this series up a little bit to give the late models a good mini-series. Adam, thoughts on that?
No, that's awesome. Humberstone was a big loss, I thought, for late model racing because it seemed to be an east-west connection.
It's when we do these series, like the Duel on the Dirt, like the Mini Tour, like the Action Sprint Tour, that we realize, I don't feel the weekly loss of Humberstone because I didn't go there for the last years. I mean, I managed it for 10 years with Bobby Davidson, but I don't feel the weekly loss of it till we start looking at tours and thinking, man, it'd be great to have them back, or All-Canadian Weekend come about, or even the Summer Nationals of Ransfield tonight being moved up because that was traditionally the Tuesday after the Merrittville Holiday Monday, which was after the All-Canadian, right? So that was a 4 or 5 day weekend there in August that everybody got together and always raced at, including late models. So, all right, what else, Spencer? Another bounty hunter came in to try and get Bailey, but Bailey broke those shackles. Won again. All right, what else? They inducted Stan Friesen on the left. That's Stewart's grandfather, Stewart in the middle, Jamie on the right. They inducted Stan Friesen into the Ring of Honor tonight at Ransville. Adam, you and I caught that before the races. Stan also in Merrittville at one time, and a big loss to the community here a few years ago. And man, he spent a better part of his life dedicated to racing and a racer himself. So congratulations to Stan and the Friesens as they celebrate Summer Nationals over at Ransville tonight. It's on Dirt Vision Live, so when you're done here with us, if you want to catch it.
Holy shit. What else, that picture is so old. I think I still worked for Leaf Racewear when we made that suit.
I was trying to think who LaRue was. Like he was driving for one of
Roger
the Quebec teams.
Roger
Okay,
Haru.
yeah.
He was down Utica Rome way. Just a big supporter, big racing guy. So yeah, that's an H. Roger Haru.
Okay. Right on. Next picture, Spencer. I thought this was a good deal. This is the Steel City Series giving away tires. Adam, I love to see this. Great promo. Awarding drivers tires for contingency stuff. Super cool.
Absolutely is. And we had some comments earlier about the American Racer mini stock tire, and it seemed negative. I thought the feedback I had heard on them was really positive. So we'll chase that story down as the summer goes on. It's not really our wheelhouse, Clinton, but we still should chat about it a bit.
Yeah, I don't know much about that, so you have to bring me up to speed on it.
Well, it used to be a Wild West fine tires. I know people were cutting their tires down, like what do you call it? Shaving their tires to build in camber. They're getting pretty creative, so it sort of commonizes tires, and it's supposed to help save money, but who knows if it does or not.
All right. Well, Spencer. Oh, this is cool. So John Morrison writes, "One night for the boys, had a great night at Flamborough, getting to check out race cars, meeting some new people, as well as seeing other friends." Okay, I'm not going to name everybody. The boys didn't walk away empty-handed as Sean Chan gifted the boys his winning trophy as well as hero cards. They slept all the way home with the trophy sitting right between them. Very thankful to Sean and Justin Colston for the hero cards as well. Just a cool story when you see the drivers connect with fans like that, and the fans, these are moments the kids are never going to forget, and that's how we build new fans.
Yeah,
Good on
and
you,
I
boys.
think that would have been an OSS series race, and that's a series we don't give a lot of love to, Clinton, but we probably should.
That's KMK's Thunderhouse. We can't be stealing that.
True.
I think the series has come a long way. Good to see the car counts up, and I'd love to see them figure out a way to blend back in with NASCAR Canada to be some type of feeder series for that. I mean, they're so far gone, but man, what can we do to get them back together without running up the costs?
If they could have figured that out, you would have had 50 cars at Ashweekend for NASCAR. In those years you ran NASCAR, they could have figured out how to get some of the older generation cars wheeled through tech.
We just get to talk about serious. I'm glad those aren't my problems any on that side of things. Those are some of my favorite days going to APC and NASCAR, because if it rains, I don't have to make a call. If someone's mad, I don't have to make the call. It's great. So, one other picture, Spencer, before we look at some Burger Barn videos of the week. This is a cool picture of the Gladhill family. Eric, his girl, his wife, and mom all right there. What a cool picture.
Cool, because there's two winners in that picture.
Yeah, Eric won and his daughter won last week at Box Stock Beginners, so congrats to them. Always great to see everybody running well and having a good time. What else, Spencer? How many more we got? All right, videos are left. Is one of them a Stroke Race movie? Probably not. All right, let's see it. Show us something. Oh, this is the work going on at the Speedway today. Normally this would make me really nervous, but I've seen them fix this way a couple times. I'm certain it's going to be good by Friday, and I'm sure it's going to be all good, all around. What else? You know what this is, Adam? These are like modifieds with street stock bodies on a road course with jumps.
Good
You got
Lord.
modified tires on them.
Count me
Somewhere in
in.
Quebec.
I love it.
Pretty wild, though. And everybody wants to bitch about Ashweekend's turn one. No, obviously that's a joke. That's some funny stuff. All right, Spencer, what else? What else we got?
If I just came up to you and said, "Hey, Rick, I heard this place used to be Black Oil.
Okay, so this
Describe
is
that
Golden
racetrack."
Isles.
How would you describe that old racetrack here?
Really, it was
Golden
scary
Isles
because
dirt track with
it was really
oil
fast,
on
and
it.
it was big, and it was the lane was really narrow. And like if you missed the lane, there wasn't a whole lot of passing.
Unreal fast. Daytona of dirt. I mean, it's as fast as you ever wanted to go.
It's very simple. They go out there and paint the lines on the racetrack, and they stay there all year long. So if that tells you anything, but it's black, and the speed was tremendous here. 5/8 mile at 150 plus mile an hour. So if that tells you anything.
It would just get hot and greasy. It was a little bit fun to race, but it was also sketchy.
Owens on the gas. Dusty Morrow trying to hang with him. Here comes Jimmy Sherrick.
We only came down here one time in the modified, and basically about like asphalt racing. You better batten down the hatches and just put all the lead on the left side and change your wheel offsets and hammer down. And it was definitely probably one of the fastest tracks I'd ever been on.
It was
I think it'd be
Black
wild.
oil.
Yeah, almost like Syracuse back in the day, slick and just wild like that to see them. And think about this. So when they said 5/8, so that's like Cayuga with a slick dirt track on it, hauling ass. It looks like it's been a wild day. I would love to see those races back in the day at Golden Isles. What else, Spencer? Okay, so this is Speedway bikes. Watch how this thing at him straight into the fence. Like I thought this guy was dead.
Yeah, well, I was a little disappointed you were showing it.
Okay, hold on. Before we get to that, if this was a soccer player, oh my goodness. Oh
They'd
my
still
goodness. You
be
watching
dead.
some of the soccer? Okay, show it now,
Oh, yeah.
Spencer. When he bounces back off that wall.
Holy moly. Well, I told you about watching that young lady in Daytona on the speedway bike with the air suit. So it inflates as soon as
Yes.
you come off the bike. And it's got 2 inflations in it. So they bear hug her to deflate the suit again, put her back on the bike, and she crashed again. So we used up both of the inflations.
You ever seen like a toddler when they wipe off the couch and they look dead for a second, but then they bounce up like nothing happened? That's what it reminded me. Like, straight head into the wall, flows up, looks dead for about half a second, then bounces up like nothing. Show him one more time, Spencer. Just till he jumps up. Like dead, alive.
Even as he gets up, it doesn't look like all his body parts are in the right place. You know what I mean? He gets up like one of those marionettes. Jesus.
Bikes are wild, man, when those guys race. Oh, now we're getting slow-mo. It just... Ugh! Thank goodness for that cushion barrier, whatever. That's a super soft barrier.
Must be.
Whew. Think about the
Memories
guys who
for
hit
life.
that before they realized they needed a barrier there. Man.
Yeah.
All right. What else, Spencer? We got a couple more. Oh, look at this pile up. Would that be like Thunder Road or something, Adam?
I think you might be right.
It's wild how they all wedge up under each other.
Yeah.
All right. One more, Spencer?
Honey,
One
imitate
more.
what a sprint car sounds like. Brian, what's a sprint car sound like?
Depends on whose engine it is.
Make the noise. Emerson, what's a sprint car sound like?
I don't know. Loud?
Make the noise.
No.
Spencer, what's a sprint car sound like?
Oh boy. Excuse me.
Buddy, what's a sprint car sound like?
I don't know.
Make the noise. Sam, what's a sprint car sound like?
Man, that's a really good question. I mean,
Bill, what's a sprint car sound like?
Beats me. I've never heard one.
Casey, what's a sprint car sound like?
Vroom, vroom. Vroom, vroom.
Logan, what's a sprint car sound like?
What's a sprint car sound like?
Yeah.
Well, like, you want me to make the noise?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Having fun with their social media. I thought that was a funny video. Don't forget Burger Barn, open on Thursday to Saturday. Check it out. Sometimes Sundays, I think. All the Burger Barn favorites available there in the parking lot. Also Travel Plus Travel Stop. Petra Plus Travel Stop, I should say. Man, we made it through another hour and 20, Adam. I told Spencer we'd be done by 9, but still didn't happen.
Good show. Good chatter. Good talk. We got to scold people a little bit.
Lots of action this week. Starting Thursday, 7 p.m. The crew's back. The Mac and Jack guys are back with the Outlaw Karting, presented by Two Speed Motorsports and Cool Kids and all our other supporters. That's live Thursday at 7 p.m. here on GeForce TV. 7 p.m. We're back on Friday with Friday Night Prime. 7 to 7:30, kicking off the show with pre-race interviews and such. Then we get going live at 7:30. This week's it's the Great Lakes Super Sprints, the ROC Sportsman, along with the minis and crate sprints. So 4-division show at Oshwegan. Saturday, we're off to Nova Scotia to do the NASCAR Canada Series at Riverside. You catch that live on Rev TV at night. And then the G-Force boys, the rest of the crew will be at Delaware for the ABC Series with Jamie Maudsley on the run. And Jordan's going to fill in for me. So we wish them the best on Saturday. Excited to see that. And we'll be back at you next Tuesday. So thanks for that. Don't forget KMK show on Mondays, On Track Weekly. You can also find it on Monday. Well, we're going to talk about that. We might or may not be here next Tuesday. Spencer's got to he's got to have his real job. So he's gonna make that a priority over us. And so then we're going to have to figure something out. We did talk about maybe a car show, film something in the car. We had a spirited debate coming back from Chaudière to the hotel, so I wish we had that one on.
Next time in fact, this weekend wouldn't be bad because it's a fairly long drive from the airport to the track. Spencer, if you got a camera we can put on the dash of the car and talk about all the perfect.
Okay, so I got the rental car, but do you know it's going to be myself, Spencer, you, Shifty, and Dave. So that could be an interesting show.
Perfect. The last time we filmed in the car, you made fun of me eating French fries at Brighton. It was 2006.
Yeah, man, but come on. Yeah. I don't even know what to say about that. Like, that is something we need to keep on record for these moments when you bring it up, because nobody eats French fries like that from the box.
I can drive and eat French fries. You have the box, the fries, hand on the wheel.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
I lost 0 fries and didn't get the steering wheel greasy.
No, but you lost 2 friends when we saw how ridiculous you looked eating French fries. So
did I really lose them? If I don't miss them, do I lose them?
No, we're still here anyways. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Lots of great racing coming up. It's the Summer of Speed. Get with us. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.